Have you back? Well, it's important to know what is really happening in the State House of Assembly. And we just want you to know that the Anambra State House of Assembly is the legislative branch of Anambra State government. It was created in 1991 when the state was created. And it is a unicameral body with 30 elected members who represent 30 constituencies. And Honorable Mrs. Rita Maduagu is the current and third female speaker of the Anambra State House of Assembly. And on that note, we'll be talking about, we'll be focusing on the Anambra State House of Assembly this morning. And we have some important guests in the house.
Of course, we have guests in the house this morning that will help us talk more on this topic. We're talking about Chief Edozie Ezongwa, SSA to Governor Obiano, on legislative and labor union matters, legislature and labor union matters. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Okay. Good morning, Anambra.
Okay. And we'll still have Engineer Anthony Aniebe, Public Affairs Analyst. Once again, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right, good to have you. We're focusing on Anambra State House of Assembly. Well, quickly, let's tell us how do what's the Anambra State House of Assembly all about? Let's start from here.
Well, Anambra State House of Assembly came into existence in 1991 to 1993 under the leadership of Don Obieke. Then they were operating at Enugu Town Hall at their sitting, place. But later, as time goes on, there was a kind of military intervention then that, distorted a lot of the flow. Later, we now back onto civilian, era, which came into, operation around 1999. And then that one was under leadership of BATS, Onubulu, then as the speaker. So Don Obieke was the pioneer speaker during those days under Okwadike. Until 1999, when BAT Onubulu came as the speaker, was merged as a speaker for Anambra State of Assembly. Throughout the period, the journey has not been all that smooth anyway. Till now, has always been ups and downs, and you witness the eras of crisis, impeachment of a sitting governor, later peace returns, then it continues, but by and large, we've been able to maintain this. Yes, we've been able to maintain our seat.
But particularly, we want to talk about last year, that is 2018.
Yeah.
We want to know how the House fared under Speaker Rita Maduagu's administration as the Speaker in the House. We want to know how they fared last year.
Well, quite good. I would say it's not been different from other ones anyway, but in a journey like this, you respect that. And you respect the role of registrators. They stand to, not only to make the laws anyway, to check the exercises of the executives, oversight, call it oversight functions. In Constitution is well defined, the role of the executives, the role of registrators, and the role of judiciary. And by their role, they can always come into clash, either the executives or the judiciary, in terms of implementation and in terms of interpretations. So it has not been all that. Whoever is being on that seat knows that from the day one you're on the hot seat as a speaker, because you will receive all kinds of this from different corners.
All right, let's say this. Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Name and location.
Omei, from where?
Omei, you need to be very clear. You said your name is Omei. Calling. Where are you calling us from? You're calling from Oka. All right. Go ahead with your contributions.
Huh?
Go ahead with your contributions. All right, well, if you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Anambra, your TV breakfast show every morning where we bring some exciting, important programs for you. And we're focusing on the Anambra House of Assembly this morning. And we want to hear your own side of the story. What do you think is going on in the Assembly? How do you think they fared? And what are your contributions? All right, let me come over to you, Sir Anthony Aniebwe. Let's talk about the functions of the State House of Assembly. How would you say the Anambra State House of Assembly has fared so far?
Okay, thank you very much. Generally, you have to understand that the legislature is the totality of the people. Because in a democratic governance, where you say it's government of the people, for the people, and by the people, if the people form the government, all of us will not be in the government house. Therefore, we have what we call representative democracy, whereby we send people to represent us. So the 30 constituency that have that these members of the House drawn from, each of them represents the people there, in which case all the Anambrans are represented in the State House of Assembly. So it's the government of the people in the House of Assembly. From your question, you have to understand that, like my brother say here, the House of Assembly, the duty is to do what's called oversight function. That is to say, to checkmate, rather see what the executive is doing, go around and supervise, observe them, and then ask questions where they observe any anomaly, correct certain things, commend the where it's going very, very well, approve the appropriation bills for government to run, because the Anambrans or the people must have to approve what their government is doing, and that's what the House is doing for us. So within this period of time under review, I would say that the House has carried out their function within the limits of their capacity, within their ability. They have done theirs. Like my brother said, always you have to understand that whoever is shaking somebody, it is never going to be so smooth. There will be a time where you will say it has to be this way, and the other person will say it has to be this way. So always there will be this misunderstanding, settlement, and we move on. I want to say that generally speaking, it has been well and good. The fight, what they call it, the good, bad, and ugly parts has gone. Recently, we heard about what happened in the House, where there was a little problem between some members of the House of Assembly and the Speaker. Yeah. And we know that that problem has been resolved.
I think we will come back to that.
Okay. We're going to talk about that.
Yes. But right now, we want to bring to you a video that will help us more on this topic. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Group Vigilante Law. We have the Housing Development Corporation Bill. We have the Tourism and Hospitality Bill. We have the Appropriation Bill 2016. We have the Mission Schools Nursing and Midwifery Bill. We have the ASWAMA Bill. We have the Physical Planning Bill. Order of Precedence of Public Order.
One, in Anambra State Assembly, we have passed so many bills into law, and the one that strikes me most is one that has to do with the health of our people, which we call the Health Insurance Bill we have passed into law. It's very, very vital to the well-being of our people, because with that law in existence and the board already set in place, our people that lack the money to treat themselves when they are sick, they can now afford to go to hospital and get treated without any doctor demanding for deposit or whatever. Another one that also helps the government of Anambra State is what we call the Revenue Court Bill, which are passed into law already, enabling the government to recover any revenue they are entitled to, compel our people to pay money, to pay their levies and their taxes as at when due. That will enable the government to provide the amenities they need. Because if you don't pay your taxes and your levies as at when due, government will not have the money to provide the amenities that we need for our own well-being. So I thank you for this opportunity.
There are so many. One of my best is the one on reducing the cost of burial. It's one of the best because it's grassroots oriented. It has a lot of human face because it cut across the poor. It's not like other laws are not for everybody, but this has already eaten deep into our system and bastardizing the system of court.
We made a bill about mobile courts that we passed recently. The mobile court is for the tax people to work efficiently.
We have passed a law establishing Anambra State Polytechnic. Also, we amended the law that changed Anambra State University to University. We passed the law establishing Ocha Brigade, and we are on a gaming bill right now, which have gone through second reading, and also we hope to.
We recently, just a few weeks ago, we worked on an anti-open grazing law with respect to the effects of the Fulani herdsmen in Anambra State. As also someone that believes in gender equality, we've done laws that promotes equality of women in our state. That was last year. We did that law. The essence of the law is to give women the rights they deserve in our society, to make sure that women are not victimized. There is this one also that I'm doing. That one is the Anambra State Infrastructural Development Law. The essence of that law is to make sure that most of the Anambra State infrastructure development, like electricity, transformers, all these things are being managed presently by the state government. When there is loss of any of these vandalization of transformers, for instance, the state government takes care of it. But now we're saying no, that this thing should go down to the communities via the PGs and town unions, because that is where most of these things are being situated. So when a transformer is being vandalized, it is the responsibility of that town union, through the PG and the EGO, to make sure that they get the cop.
All right, you've heard it from the people, that's the lawmakers. We are still focusing on the Anambra State House of Assembly. Coming to you, Chief Ezogwa, you've heard what they said, the number of bills that was passed and all that. And then a lot of them we are saying the one they felt we are the best to them. So I want to ask you, as the SSA or legislature, which of the bills that was passed last year you say that this is the one that you liked so much or that benefited the masses so much?
Well, every bill, take it as personal as the same, because all of them are necessary, all of them are good. For instance, a bill on Mbakpo Polytechnics. I know what I went through before eventually that bill, went through and this, because there is urgent need for it. There's another one again, I think has to do with this teaching hospital, So we work day and night to make sure that we meet up for those who are the visiting, guests to to enable them, qualify them to, some of the nurses and So these are the areas, sometimes the moment of pressures and the rest of them. Then there's other ones they mention, revenues and Ocha Brigade and the rest of them. You find out that all of them are still very, very important. You cannot say that I so much this particular one. But when we look at the values, what they tend to, then you discover that most of all the bills being, passed is as good as any other one, to me.
Okay, let's come over to engineer. Let's talk about the budget, the state's budget. Most times, why do you think there's always delay in the passage of the budget?
Well, actually, I want to say that it's normal to have that delay.
Normal?
Yes, because a budget that you prepare a budget and set somebody to, unquote, approve. The person has to go through what you presented. And in going through, you remember that it's also at that point that some amendment can be done on that document. Some community can come in, probably at the preparation of the bill, their interests were not captured. And since the House represents the people, there may be possibility that people will still also get to that bill through their representative. Okay. So it's the normal budget activity for community to go through their representative to put certain things that were not captured from in the budget when the MDAs were preparing it. So in all those period of studying the document, putting and removing certain things, there is possibility you have delay. In fact, a budget that passed was coming and passed immediately. To us in the civil society, we don't agree to that because we must have to. You must have to allow things to be done in that project. So there is need for a little delay. Right. Not that it's going to be overbearing.
Chief, do you agree with that last statement of his?
No.
Okay, I wanted to.
If you understand the workings of the members and the other side, the executives, sometimes they work behind the scenes. You might not know what is going on.
Okay.
This year's zone, they must have started, but they come to the extent that they have done enough. They now begin to interact with the members. This is what we are coming up with. They'll be able to, on that, to keep on. At a point, they have the executives have to submit what we call the draft, budget.
Okay.
The members will go through it and know where the direction they are going, and that kind of thing. Then we begin to consider again the revenues. How do you generate the revenues? It's not a question of preparing what you are going to, use as a budget, but how do you fund the budget? So these are the things. We keep on doing these things until such a time that we're able to be less. We have come to, the point where there will be. You might not know as at that time harmonizations between the executives and the registrators. Once it's agreed, harmonized, then the executive will now prepare the final one they are going to present. That day they are coming to the Excellency is coming to present. It's just a symbol. But most of all the works have been done on that. But when you have house and that understand the executives, when things have been sorted out behind the scenes, it will take time.
Okay.
And these other ones are trying to, sometimes muzzle flexing and that kind of thing.
So we're going to come back to that because we really want to know the relationship between the legislature, executive, and of course the judiciary. Well, we're going for a little break right now. Let's go to the street. Let's go and feel the pulse of the people. What do people really feel about what is going on in the House of Assembly? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The State House of Assembly of Anambra State, when you compare them to the other states of House of Assembly of other states, I said they are doing very well. But my opinion is that they should publicize and sensitize people on the developments going on in the State House of Assembly.
Even as a lawyer, you get to hear about some of these laws when they begin to arrest people and harass people by the law enforcement agents regarding the breach of a particular law or the other. But I think it's a duty on the state to sensitize the public as to enactment of new laws or amendment of an old law, because it's going to affect the rights of those people, and it's their duty to be on notice, because we have to be aware of the law, see the laws, so as to be able to assess their quality or otherwise.
Initially, if we didn't believe in them, we wouldn't have voted them in. So for me, they are making good laws for the state, and I'm sure of it.
This sixth assembly, for me, they are doing their best, especially as it concerns the situation in the country now. They are really doing their best to make sure that Anambra State is in line with the good practices all over the world. They talked about a law about helping pensioners in Anambra State and so many other laws. For me, I think they are doing their very best.
All right, it's great to have you back. Of course, you heard them from the people, in the streets, what they feel about the House of Assembly. But before we went on that short break, you were saying something, Honorable.
Yes, exactly. I'm only trying to let you understand the workings, the behind the scenes, actions going on. Then that day, the president is coming to present it. It's just a symbolic in nature. Then after that, the House the Speaker will now call for the addition to move to accept the budget. Once it's accepted, That's the first reading. Then the second reading before they finally go to committees. And other committees, what they will be doing is to go through all these things being presented by the Excellency, the governor or the president. Then know, because that period, that's the period my friend might be mentioning. That will be the period they will now scrutinize every, ministries or MDs or agencies, and they make sure that the things, because once it's passed, it becomes law. You cannot add or subtract from it. And if you do that, it's an impeachable offense. So you must have to, that may be the period we'll be talking about delays they are expecting. But if you have a very peaceful this and that result, then there's no need. Once it's agreed, it will be passed.
Some people are always satisfied when they see that MDAs are invited to the House to come and defend the estimated budget. So
yes, of course.
I think
that's
the period of the delay.
That's the period of delay we are talking about. Because each ministries will come and defend, and the MD will come and defend what you have presented as a budget.
And you want to say something?
That is why I said that any budget that comes in and is passed instanta is not a proper process. Okay. You must have to invite, even if there has been some working behind the scene. At the end of the day, when it's officially presented, you still have to find out whether those things you discuss behind the stream is still what is there. So it will still take you some little time. That's why I said if it is a very long delay, is not approved. But there must be a little time to invite the MDAs to come, and then let's see. Even if it's just come and sit down and say, yes, this is what we put, and you mark it, there must be some time.
You can see the one presented by the president before last year. Yeah. Do you understand? I can assure you that budget might be passed around May or June after the election. And that is where there is this in between the executives and the legislators. It has happened before. Yeah. The last one was like that up to June.
No. That's not.
So if there is a peaceful distance between the executives and the legislators, it won't take time. And that will be when all these things are well scrutinized and, all the MDs and the ministries. Sometimes the members will call the ministries or MDs to come and defend. They would tell you, they would find one excuse or the other. And the delays continues. And when the delay continues, the members might decide out of frustration, they will decide to, and the pharmacists are the ones that are going to suffer for it. So in this case, in Anambra State, there is understanding between the legislators and the executives.
Yes, we're going to talk about that, and that's what I wanted to ask you. What's your impression as regards to this year's budget that has been passed? That's in the State House of Assembly.
That is what I'm saying. That there has been a distance behind the scene.
And your expectations too?
Yes, the expectations that the Excellency has gone, like for instance, the 2018, as of June, it has done almost more than half, 50%. So by the time we are approaching the end of the year, almost 80 to 90% of it have done. And they already had hit the road, straight away without wasting time. And I know quite all right that these ones, all the ministries and MDs have, begin to receive their distance for the year and implementations. And but what we are praying is that let the revenues, the funding, be consistent.
That's the question.
That is the problem.
Where we are going to generate all the revenue and all that for the budget. Anyway, away from the budget, let me come to you and Chief Engineer Liebwe. We have 3 tiers of government, talking about the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. And you are Anonya Anambra now. You've been in the state. So I want you to talk to us. How do you think the relationship between this tier of government have been in Anambra State?
At least we've not been having any fights. So their relationship is very, very cordial, very, very normal, the way it should be. Like my brother says, the House and the executive are cooperating very well. The judiciary, we've not seen the judiciary at loggerhead with the executive, in which case the judiciary is performing its duty as far as the government is concerned, the proper way. If it's been a place where there's problem, by now you wouldn't have even asked the question. You would know that we would have been in court, out and in court. But incidentally, in Anambra State, we don't have such problem where the chief executive is trying to defend one case or the other, and the House is putting pressure unnecessarily. And what we have is a smooth running of the government. The 3 tiers are cooperating effectively, and that's my own assessment.
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name?
My name is...
Please, can you please turn down the volume of your... All right, please, let's make it easy for ourselves. When you call us, the numbers are there. When you call, please turn down the volume of your TV set. Or better still, you can walk away from it so we can have a very beautiful discussion this morning. Okay, good. Let me come to you, Honorable. There's always a saying that what a man can do, a woman can do better. Of course, we know the Speaker of the House of Assembly doing very well. In your own way, assessment, how would you assess the achievements of the Speaker of the House of Assembly so far?
Well,
because we talked about the House of Assembly, being peaceful. She's piloted the affairs to a very large extent the best way she can. Things are really working out, even when there's some misunderstanding and stuff. She still steps in and things, gets better. How would you assess her achievement so far as being the Speaker of the House of Assembly?
I told you one thing at the beginning, that the day you step in as the Speaker, that seat is a very hot seat.
Okay.
Then you know that you are sitting in a hot seat. It's not going to be decent to you.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Your name and location. All right.
Yeah, to me, my assessment, personal assessment, she has tried.
Okay.
She has tried. As much as we still have some areas, but at the moment, for that cordial relationship between the executives and the legislators, she's doing her best. In fact, more than any other speaker I've ever seen. She's trying her best, as far as I'm concerned. But, when you are in the House, by nature of her duty, responsibility, is bound to face all kinds of, even within the member themselves.
Yes.
Then in there you talk about the executive sides and the judiciary side.
Okay.
So he's a human being. So
Right.
I'm
And
quite.
still on that, we really want to know how the relationship among the members. We know the impeachment saga that rocked the House last year, and then a lot of people were like against the Speaker and all that, although it's now settled. But we want to know if they are still having a cordial relationship amongst themselves.
Of course, I can assure that they have. That is why they accepted the budget and some other, things that comes. For instance, the local government transitional, chairman and the rest of them, went through it. Some of the important bills sent by the Excellency, they went through it, and there is understanding very, very decent. We put behind all the crisis that comes, as well as government, the business of this government is concerned. Nobody can say like, it's personal. It's not personal. It's the rule. Sometimes when it comes down, sometimes in politics anyway. I feel that we have learned a lesson from that. What happened?
All right, let's go see a video. There's a video we're going to be showing to you now. Okay, a video that's also regarding the House of Assembly and the activities in there. Let's go see the videos. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Visited some of our colleagues being part of their commissioning of their projects. I will tell you that these 6 assembly are very serious, committed people. In my constituency, for instance, I have a scholarship board that oversees the constituencies. To the glory of God, I have about 320 people in my scholarship foundation, in my, both primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. That God has really helped us in terms of that. Now, infrastructures, I've been able to, provide pipe-borne waters for a lot of people, boreholes, in different communities. That the whole communities that I represent can point to the fact that this is what Ifediorama has done in their town and in their communities. In health, I've been able to help out with the health in Enugu Agede, in Enofia, in Enugu, as with structures that you can see, expanding some of their maternity wards, to give more room and all of that. In the schools, I have been able to set up a laboratory at GTC in Enugu, for instance. They have no functional physics and chemistry laboratory. When I came, the house was dilapidated and all of that. I came and remodeled the laboratory, and not just remodeling the physical building, but I was able to equip it with science laboratory equipment, which the students are.
Most of the committees always on their oversight functions on Wednesdays and Fridays. That is when we don't normally sit. And on my own part as the chairman committee on agriculture, I think we have done a series of oversight functions, fully aware that the governor of the state pays more attention in agricultural development of the state. And we have visited a lot of projects in Ayamelum, in Akwaru, Iyala, Orumba, and Okanot. We've actually been working with Ministry of Agri and different programs they have been about the value chain. We have done a lot of oversight function on the projects of the value chain. We have equally also embarked on oversight function of various Fadama projects within the state. Presently, the value chain is doing well in Ayamelum, because before now they were doing one season farming in rice production. But I think that sometime last year, the farmers there testified when we went there, they are doing 2 season farming. That means increasing the capacity of their production for a year. We have also visited the value chain site in Okanot. I think they are doing well also there.
Personally, in my own constituency, I've touched virtually all the communities. I have 7 communities in my constituency. I have Unibama, Isiago, Mbauku, Muawolo, and the Nise. And I've done one project or the other throughout the entire communities. So dividend of democracy, I'm giving them as I was giving. I don't hide anything. Once it is approved and I receive the cash, I move on. Like now, I'm going in Mbauku now. Mbauku should be the next town, because I've done something, but not to my satisfaction. So I still need to go there. And final Oma, which is my own town, because I asked them to please be patient with me, because I have to satisfy the outsiders, because they are the people that have voted me into power. I know charity begins at home, but in this regard, the reverse is the case, because we are begging them. I'm from Omao, and they agree with me.
All right, glad to have you back. Still focused on Anambra State House of Assembly, and we've heard it all from the lawmakers again. But then, Chief Edozie, we want to ask you this question about constituency projects of these lawmakers. They are talking about the bills passed as a house, but we want to know how they fared in fulfilling their responsibility towards their constituency projects.
Yeah, a very serious-minded member, honorable member, will always, ensure that that constituency project is well implemented, because these are the assessment by the communities, because eventually are going to go back to there. These are the period for them to come and give account now and the third, because if you are coming to recontest again, you must give account of the 4 years you have spent. Now these are the period, and no serious, like I mentioned, no serious-minded honorable member or senator or House of Reps will now play with that. That is why when they normally have problem with the executives, because these are the areas where people, your community will assess you. whether you have done, whether you've been able to attract the dividends of democracy to them. And this is the period you will now show what you have done as a representative to the House. Then you'll be able to, say a lot of things, all the steps you have taken. So most of them have done, well on their different constituencies. Those who play, this will have hand and seek game, they are going to meet the same community again. So these are the period of, assessment.
Okay, good. Engineer, let me come to you. It's that time for election again, and if you really, yes, I want to believe you're following the storage trending. You can see the lawmakers moving from one community to the other, trying to, sensitize the people why they should vote for them for coming back to the office, where they're actually, heading right now. Still talking about the constituency projects of each lawmaker. How would you access them?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like my brother said, number of bills passed in the House, is good for governance. But the villagers don't even know what you are talking about. When you talk about you have passed 2,500 bills. What they want to see is, what have you done for us on the ground there? So it's that constituency project that will actually tells the people you've been representing them. The effect of government is now reaching them, because that's what democracy is all about. Generally speaking, I would say, let me give it to them, because it's he who has the shoe that knows where it pinches him. Unfortunately, the constituency project is not the one that says somebody collect the money and put in his pocket. It is something that is, approval is done based on implementation. As you implement, money is released. So any lawmaker that fails to understand the importance of constituency project, that person, and that's why when I was talking about before, I think during the paper review, I talked something about people observing that there is kind of a drag, a low activity in the campaign stuff, because most of them may start to think that it is vote buying that will bring them back. And that's where we, the civil society, we said, no, go and do what you're supposed to do, give the people what they want, and people will even be calling you to come back and represent them. You get the point, because they know that the ones you did before, you did very well, and we want you to continue. So it's left for the people to assess in their various constituencies, how have we fared under your leadership, under your representation. If you don't do well to us, maybe we vote for another. Yes, we vote for another person.
All right, we really don't have time. We have to go. But then before we go, Chief Ezogwa, we want to know your expectations from the State House of Assembly this year, 2019, and then, after the elections too.
Well, their tenure is coming to the end towards the middle of this year, middle of the year. I know that the remaining period now, we are going to engage on serious politics. They will resume, but after resuming 1 or 2 weeks, they will now go back for election. Then after the election, they become outgoing. And during that period, I know it will be, everybody will now know that we are now saying bye. And nobody will prepare to go into confrontations on any crisis. And I pray that that cordiality will continue to, be sustained, even with the incoming one. As long as I'm there, I will play my role.
So your final words, engineer, before we leave.
My final words is that the House is meant to work, checkmate excesses of both the judiciary and the executive is their duty, their constitutional role. My expectation this year is that even before this one drop, let's continue to work together with understanding. The new one that will come by the middle of this year, let's be a vibrant. In fact, let's always continue to have better ones. You get the point. Okay. This one is good. We pray for better ones.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Anthony Anwebe, Public Affairs Analyst, for coming to Good Morning Anambra today. And also Chief Edozie Ezogwa, SSA to Governor Obiano on legislature and labor union matters. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
All right, and that's it on the topic Focus on Anambra House of Assembly. Don't go anywhere. We'll still be right back.